Welcome to Workout Masters Healthy Living episode number 42. 42. This is Ruben.
And this is Aram.
And today we're going to talk about gastritis.
Gastritis it is.
It was a special request, so let's tear this one apart.
Well, we referred to that person already on a phone call conversation that he had, but we thought that it would be a good idea for you to understand what gastritis is, how it feels. I wouldn't know because I never had it, but what I've read about it and what I've gathered from clients in the past. Anytime.
Let's do this. First of all, we're not medical doctor guys. You guys know that.
That's pretty obvious.
We don't wear scrubs. So that's that giveaway. He wears like a Spaniard jersey. What's up with the Spanish jersey, man?
You don't like it?
Are you proud of being a world champion?
You bet.
Finally?
You betcha.
So anyway, since we're not doctors, the whole idea of talking about, let's say, diagnosing disease and everything, you just got to understand, we don't diagnose anything. All we do is we talk about balance. And if anybody has some sort of condition, it is usually manifestation of imbalance.
That's for sure.
So from our point of view, we're going to help you if you have that kind of condition, if you know somebody who has that kind of condition.
Right.
There's some basic things that you can do to help yourself or help your friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So what is it?
Information is key to have when it comes to understanding and how these symptoms come about, and what is it that we can do about it to ameliorate, to make it feel better.
Absolutely.
Without having to infringe on any or step onto anybody's toes for that matter, which is the last thing we want to do.
You always listen to your doctor first, and second, listen to us.
You listen to your doctor first, you make a consent, a decision. What is it that you want to do? Do you want to go the medical route or not? If you want to, consult with a homeopathic doctor or anybody else in the health care industry, you go ahead. It's your life, it's your health, it's your decision, and it's, like we told you, it's nobody else to blame but you of the outcome of the decision that you make, which is about taking responsibility. All right.
So what it is?
Getting back to the subject of gastritis.
It's an inflammation of the stomach.
Of the stomach lining. That is correct.
So the important part to understand that if you have it, and as a holistic health practitioner, we always say you cannot have a good health unless your digestive tract is in perfect order. So that should raise like a red flag.
Automatically.
Automatically. There's something's going on. And then we're going to give you keys on what's possibly going on. So what's your take on this?
My take on this. First of all, let's go back to the word gastritis so people become a little bit more informed of the meaning of the words that they sometimes come across in the lexicon. Any word that you might find that ends with the suffix itis, I-T-I-S, means inflammation. So it could be gastritis, inflammation of the lining of the stomach, hepatitis, inflammation of the liver, nephritis, inflammation of the nephrons, which is the functional unit of the kidneys, so forth, tendinitis, so you have all these different itis, which mean inflammation. Yes, to add a little bit to that, itis means inflammation that is a sudden onset, that it means that it hasn't been prolonged for a long period of time. Then what you come across in the vocabulary is that you might hear the word osis. One thing's osis means that it's become chronic. That means that the onset is not sudden, it's been going on for a long period of time.
Okay.
All right, so like Aaron said, gastritis is the inflammation of the stomach lining. The stomach lining can get inflamed very, very easily the minute you start actually, diminishing the quality of your actions of daily living. If you don't rest, if you don't eat good food, if you don't drink enough water, if you're drinking too much coffee at the wrong time of the day in the wrong mixture of all the nutrients that actually may help you buffer the caustic effect that coffee has on the lining of the stomach. Stress is the number one. The minute you stress out, your body, as you have well heard in other episodes, your body starts releasing cortisol. Well, that cortisol is literally going to cook you inside out. And it's very important to know that the first thing to do when you have gastritis is to try to stay as calm and as relaxed as you can, which is almost, counterintuitive because people don't realize that, while they're actually getting stressed out, the stomach is being torn to pieces. And that's the first thing that people complain about when they're stressed out. I get so nervous, I get so tense, I get so agitated, and I feel it all in my stomach. He goes, of course, buddy.
It's a gut feeling. They always say, I have a feeling with my gut.
Yeah, they complain that they feel that the stomach is being torn apart, and it's literally what's happening.
In many cases, yeah.
So some of the most common symptoms that we have about gastritis, you want to elaborate on those or mention those?
Symptoms, you're basically just going to have a burning sensation, you're going to feel pain after you eat, maybe even just on an empty stomach also. Yeah. But ultimately what's important to understand is if you've been diagnosed with it, it is stress related, and the stress, as if you refer to any episode that we have, can come in many sizes and forms. So it can be nutritional, could be chemical, could be physical, could be electromagnetic, thermal, or something. So as a nutrition lifestyle coaches, we generally would want to assess the person, see where's the most stress coming from. What stresses you? Is your life stressful? Is your job stressful? Is your food intake is not up to par? If you're stressing out because of something else. So ultimately always think and try to be objective with yourself. What stresses you out the most?
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, the other thing that can actually create that kind of problem, just a whole set of drugs, drugs like Advil, severely affect the lining of the stomach. And another one, important one, is bacteria called H. pylori.
Right.
And I would highly recommend you to ask your doctor to check for it if you have an H. pylori infection or not, because it's quite prevalent these days.
Yes.
Yeah?
Like Aaron has mentioned, just to recapitulate, symptoms: burning on the stomach, a churning sensation inside your stomach that does not feel good at all. It can go into nausea, vomiting. Sometimes you'll have, you'll vomit some blood or some material that almost looks like a coffee grind. That's literally your intestines, in your stomach lining just breaking down. Like Aram said, they have a lot of medications out there that we might be taking as a form of relieving the stomach pain that we might have at that time to just diminish the symptoms that we have.
Well, they actually can create the whole issue by itself. If you take a lot of Advil, let's say if you have a headache and you used to pop an Advil all the time, that can create a stomach-related issue.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the one thing that we have to understand, aspirin will have the same effect. All the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories that we can buy over the counter will have that effect. Getting infected with H. pylori, which is very, very, very easy. We travel, it's actually in our saliva. So if you have, kissing with somebody, stuff like that, and they have H. pylori, well, guess what? Congratulations. Now both of you have it. So if you find out that you have H. pylori, and by the way, he's the main culprit in the development of ulcers in the stomach, guess what? You might very well be passing on to your wife, to your husband, to your other whatever significant other that you're having,
Very, very, very high possibility.
Right. Yes. They're very easy to detect, and they're very easy to take care of those H. pylori strands. So don't despair, because it's very easy to get rid of them. The thing is that you will have to do in conjunction with your other significant other, because you will have to take it at the same time. Otherwise, you're going to be infecting each other back and forth, and that's just downright stupid.
Let's figure out what somebody can do, what our friends can do to get rid of it. What would you recommend?
Number one, by far, is make sure your stress level does not get to a point that is not manageable. And that's I understand that people say, whatever, same thing with the stress all the time. No, it is the truth. So understand that you can handle as much as something, and one step or one spoonful more of that, it actually sends you over the edge. So learn to realize how much you can tolerate, and just detach yourself from the outcome, because otherwise there's no way in hell that you can make that feel better.
So take out all the stressors you possibly can.
Right.
If you take anti-inflammatory, you might reconsider taking something that does not aggravate your stomach.
Correct.
If you drink alcohol, coffee,
cut it down.
Smoking,
cut it down.
Carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates.
Right.
Yeah? All of those things.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Simple sugar that oftentimes, if they're not put in the right combination with other macronutrients, that can actually affect your health adversely quickly.
Okay.
So it's important to know that.
What else? I would recommend specifically, if you can put your hands on gelatin, or specifically either you can buy gelatin in the form of, there's a good company called Great Lakes Gelatin, and drink it every day. Mix it in the cup with the water, which I do quite often. I think you do too. Gelatin is very important to heal the digestive tract.
Right.
You can take it in the pill form, in the powder form. Another way of actually making your own gelatin is making your own broth.
Which I think is more important,
Which is a whole lot better than anything you can do. So you buy good organic chicken or grass-fed beef bones and make your own broth. The longer you cook it, the more stuff you're going to get out of it, the better it is for you. Regardless if you have any digestive conditions or not, it's one of the most important things you can possibly do for your health, is to drink broth.
Yes, and before we put another video on the site, how to make the broth, in the meantime, purchase yourself a book called Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon, and it has the step-by-step of how to make the best out of subtracting all that gelatin and all those minerals out of the chicken bones or out of the the beef bones that you might be using for your broth. And that's by far the healthiest nutrition that you can put in your body.
Absolutely.
We've done it for thousands of years, and we should be doing it for another 1,000 at least before we discard that procedure of...
Broth is beautiful, and especially if you have any digestive related issues, make sure you drink plenty of broth.
It will make your tummy feel really good.
The other things I would recommend, I would definitely recommend digestive enzymes. You need some sort of help to digest the food that you're having.
Right, especially if your body has been depleted of them, which happens, by means of being very stressed and putting a lot of load, physiological load of all types in your body.
So you go to a local health food store and asking for specific digestive enzymes. If you don't know what it is, you always make a comment. We'll recommend you and maybe send you a place where you can get them.
Right.
Water. You gotta make sure you drink plenty of water, and not with the meal. It's before the meal or after the meal, in between the meals, but not with the meal.
Right. Yeah. Well, otherwise, you start diluting all the enzyme content of your stomach, and it makes it harder for the body to break down the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fats.
You do need to create an environment for your body where your body is ready to heal.
Yes. And
that is exceptionally important. When you're stressed out, your body is in catabolic mode, it's tissue destructive, there is an inflammation, and as Ruben says, it is an inflammation related, so you would want to cut down on inflammation, cut down on stress. So you do things that are positive for you. You rest, you sleep, you drink water, buy the best food on earth, and you'll hear this whole lot from me, always buy the best food on earth. Drink a lot of broth, digestive enzymes, what else?
I will say, and this is pretty much a blanket statement, stay away from taking antacids. Alright, this is one problem that people have grossly mistaken. When they have all this acid into their stomach, it's supposed to be there. They probably do not have enough. The proof of that is that, if you take an antacid, you're actually making the environment in your stomach more alkaline, which is the last thing you want to do. The stomach has to be as acidic as it can to be able to break down the protein and the carbohydrates. Otherwise, it's impossible to actually pass them into your small intestine for assimilation. So what happens is that since the food itself is not being digested, it remains in your stomach, and that creates that acidic effect. And when you start feeling, the GERD, the acid reflux, in your body. So it's very important. Antacids will actually work against you. It might take away some of that burning sensation that you have that is being caused by the gastritis, and actually it has been caused by the lifestyle factors that you have not taken account into.
Right.
So
that's all suggestions I had for right now.
I think so. That's a good start.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can provide you with with a test that you can actually do to find out whether you are being infected, with the H. pylori virus.
For sure, we can always do H. pylori test. That's not a problem.
And
we can do stress-related test. Anything you want. You make comments. We'll tell you how much it costs, where you can get it, and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Take care of yourself, and if you start making a broth, and you start taking a lot of time for yourself and resting, then your future gonna look a whole lot better already.
There you go.
And thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your support. I mean, we do get quite a good comments. Thank you.
Until the next episode, have a great week.
Bye, guys.